What's up, y'all? Today is Monday, January 19th, 2026. It's crazy. I feel like Christmas was yesterday and we're already like towards the end of January. It's nuts. But we are the Spot Network. I am DJ Zenas, one of your fellow hosts. My other hosts consist of my guy DG Diamond Grant and of course Ramon
Yes,
Official.
sir.
He's known as many things. BBB, multiple. He goes by many addresses.
The ball back brother has arrived.
But again, we are the Spot Network, and we are here for Manifest Mondays. Today is episode 113. We are going to be discussing MLK Day 2026. Everybody knows the famous quote, "I have a dream," right? So today we're going to be talking about the dream versus the reality, right? What his dream was, what his legacy was, and ultimately where we're at today in regards to race relations, just current political climate, just honestly everything, right? So that being said, I think a lot of people think of MLK Day and it's just like, oh yeah, like it's great to have the day off, right? Like cool, right? You might post a quote on your social media, whatever the case may be, and just keep it pushing, right? That being said, for y'all, like, does MLK Day represent anything specific for you or for the culture?
Absolutely, man. Hey, shout out to MLK, man. I had the day off today, so it's been a great day. It's so crazy though. A couple years, like, no, I joke aside, man. It meant a lot, bro. Because at the end of the day, like, just think about it, bro. To even have a day of like a celebration, it just shows something significant, right? You did something to have to be celebrated, right? To have a holiday, to have a day. You did something of immense magnitude. The fact that he was a civil rights leader, fought for equalities, especially for us Black folks, and now we're here today, man. Other things that he pushed for, things that he advocated for, it's crazy. Like some of our ancestors wasn't privileged like us to have all the opportunity and resources that we have. And those great leaders, they all paved the way. So you can't take those things for granted. And I think it's important for us, like especially Black folks, to celebrate the founders, the legacy makers who actually paved the way for us. And especially even here, like coming to the States, bro, even like back in Africa, like that's something we knew about MLK, right? He was a civil rights leader. Those are things that were taught in schools. And the fact they're coming here to the States and being part of that culture and celebrating that, man, means a lot, bro. Because at the end of the day, if it wasn't for him, those leaders who sacrificed their lives, because you think about it, he was like our age, right? Wasn't he like, how old was he when he passed away?
We were just talking about it earlier today.
39.
He was 39. Honestly,
right.
him and Malcolm X were both 39 when they passed. Crazy.
Right. So it's like us. So 35 30 to 39 is not that far, man. Imagine being young.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be like, my mission is to like fight for my people, bro. How many young people have that even mindset and that tenacity to like go through those things that that your life might be on the line? So at the end of the day, I think it's important, man. At the end of the day, like we should like celebrate that because he paved the way for us to be here today. All the things that he talks about, like whites and blacks to not be judged by the color of your skin, but the content of your character, man. And I think those are the things that we should all embody and just celebrate that and just have the freedom to be able to live the life that we choose because there are people before us, young men who sacrificed their lives for us to be in this position today. So shout out to MLK and the people who paved the way for us to be here.
Absolutely, brother. Great way to put that, man. There's a quote that I think about with from the famous movie The Sandlot. It's heroes get remembered, but legends never die. Right. And I feel like with somebody like MLK, that's just somebody who is both, right? A hero and a legend. And you can tell even just by the like you said, DG, like the his day being submitted on every calendar that rolls out in the US. Right. MLK Day is cemented on there. If you buy a new planner, it says Martin Luther King Jr. Day on around the 19th, right? Around whatever that Monday is around that time. But it says so much about the person that you have to be to kind of like just to kind of echo a lot of things you said, but to think outside of the now.
Right.
And in that time, you know, he probably, you know, was working on and building towards things that would affect people for years to come, but never really would know what that would look like, right? I'm not sure the year that he passed, but you know, no one probably thinks they're gonna just, you know, maybe you want to, and it didn't seem like he did, but no one really thinks their name's gonna be cemented in, you know, U.S. history as something that's gonna live on forever and be recognized, even if people are not necessarily doing the work to understand what it was, you know, what it was really about, what his cause was about. Even if you have the day off, you still kind of are like, you know, praising him in a way. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it makes you, it keeps the name alive in that way, right? Like it's like something that I know MLK, even if people don't know exactly what he did, MLK Day, they know they're off and they, you know, they can do the right, or, you know, maybe their kids ask, why are you off today? Oh, it's MLK Day. Oh, who's MLK? You see what I'm saying? Like, so it's just like the thing that's like cemented to where you have to know. And then you just think about someone who was so vision based that just and had a vision for our people and all people that just, I mean, it almost like, to me, it seemed like his vision was just so powerful that there was nothing besides death, and even in death, that could stop it.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? And when you see like some of that stuff looks crazy, when you see like just being like a civil rights leader and to have, whether it's protests or speeches with that many people at it, bro, it what kind of rings to me sometimes is like, who is that now?
Right.
Who are those leaders and those thought leaders and those speakers that are bringing people out like that right now? You know what I mean? Maybe I'm thinking similar to things like Invest Fest and certain moments like that, when, you know, somebody like 19 Keys or something like that. But just the magnitude of what was happening at that period of time with that many people, it looked like it was like 100,000 people at some of those speeches. I Have a Dream speech, like, you know what I mean? From Bernie Sanders to Jesse Jackson, you know what I mean? Like everyone out there. So
and the crazier thing about that was there was no social media, so it was all word of mouth, man.
All like, we'll be here at 2 p.m. I don't care. You don't got your phone, you're not setting the reminders, you need to be down there, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Just get down there, you know what I mean? So yeah, man, it's just powerful, man. It's powerful to be that type of person with that type of message that affect that many people. It's stamped in history, man. It's stamped in history. So I think it's good to take that time and, you know, if they have a parade in the city, maybe go to the parade and support the things around the city. But more than that, make sure that you know, you keeping some of the ideals that he had alive. You know what I mean? And whatever that way is, you know. So much you see.
Yeah, man. Y'all kind of hit all the nails on the head, man. So I don't have a lot more to add, but I think MLK Day, what it represents to me is just honestly kind of what y'all both said, is just legacy, right? The ability to just cement yourself in time, in history forever. That's something that is like a once in a generation type of accolade, right? You know, like you don't see many people who are cemented forever, you know, right? To have a national holiday, like he's essentially like a national treasure, right? You know, like everyone knows who Martin Luther King Jr. is, right? You know, and I'm not just talking about across the US, like a lot of people across the world know the name Martin Luther King Jr., you know, right? Just like you said, DG, earlier, you know, in Africa, they taught about his legacy and what that was, right? You know, and so when I think of MLK Day, I think of his legacy. I think of just how important the movement is. You know, civil rights is something that we're still continuously fighting for each and every day, right? You know, like, have we made a lot of progress? Yes, you know, right? Like something I like to reflect on, right, is, you know, on days like this, I like to, you know, just take the time to reflect and, you know, take accountability and just think of impact and what that all means. And I think, like, what would MLK think now, right? You know, if he were still alive to this day, you know, like, what would his thoughts be? And what would he think of his legacy and whatnot, or not even if he was still alive, but if he had the chance to like come back from the dead and just like just see, you know, where we've evolved to this point from where, you know, during his time, would he be proud, you know, right? Would he be disappointed, you know, right? I'd be curious to have a conversation like this to see all the emotions and whatnot that he would probably embrace, you know, and whatnot. But
hey, real quick, if you could guess, what do you think he would be? You think he'd be proud of where we at now, or do you think he'd be like, I fought for this?
No, I'll go first though. I would say he would be proud to just see how things were back then to what it is right now. Because if you look at society, bro, like no matter how much work you put in, society would never be perfect, right? You can do everything right. There's always going to be those groups of people who are just going to be outliers. So and then they just to see that contribution, how things are improved tremendously, I would say he would be proud to say, man, I fought for this. You know, now Black people can just like have this prestigious position, being his authority figure, then wouldn't have had access or privilege like before. So we came a long way. So I'm sure that there are going to be some things that you're going to be disappointed with, of course. But overall, I would say he would be proud because there's no system that's going to be perfect, no matter how hard you try or whatever you do.
Yeah, I agree. I think the primary emotion he would probably feel is pride, right? You know, I think he would be proud of a lot of the progress. I mean, Ramon and I were talking about it earlier today. You know, Ramon just got back from Atlanta, you know, right? Atlanta is, we all know it is like pretty much the Black Mecca, right? You know, like it's the Black Hollywood, you know, right here in the US. And there's so much Black excellence that exists there, right? You know, and so and it's not just there, it's obviously everywhere, right? You know, and just a lot of the things that, you know, his people have been able to really just overcome and attain over the years is leaps and bounds from, like, you know, when he passed. I think in 1968 or something like that was when he passed, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But we've come so far, but I think there would also be the sentiment of like, we didn't come this far just to come this far too, though. Like, I think there would still be more work. He would recognize that there's still more work to be done. I mean, that's something that we talk about as like, I wouldn't necessarily say we're visionaries like a Martin Luther King Jr., you know, or Malcolm X or whatever the case may be, but we recognize that we're people who are very objective. We always have to be working towards something, right? To like just continuously evolve and improve ourselves. I think he would be along the lines of the same thing, as just understanding that, like, yeah, we've come a long way, but we still have a lot further to go too, right? You know, and I think that's just the reality of it, right? You know, when we talk about the dream versus the reality, is DG, to your point, that no society is ever going to be perfect. No person is perfect. Like, no, like it's just, it doesn't exist. This idea of a utopia is all a facade to me. Like, I just don't think there could ever be like perfect unity and you know, whatnot, just like a world just free of ignorance and all that stuff. I don't believe that. Like, unless we're all under some kind of spell on some drugs, like, you know, some shit like being control, like mind control shit. Like, that's the only way, just because naturally I think our differences is what drives evolution, but it's also what drives ignorance too, right? You know, I think there's people who look at our differences in a negative way, and then there's people who look at it in a positive way, right? You know, and I think that's just always going to exist. We're never going to be free of that, you know, right? But that being said, I do think he would be disappointed in the fact that, like, I think in today's age, something else that we were also talking about earlier today is, I feel like we're just so complicit and just so complacent in our just day-to-day lives now, right? You know, like, you don't see political figures like, now granted, like, the times aren't as tough as they were then, right? You know, like civil rights has evolved so much since then, so like you don't have to be so radicalized as you did back then, right? You know, so I think there's a reason why we've kind of just become more washed and just like kind of everything, right? You know, because we recognize like we do have a lot of liberties, we do have a lot of freedoms, all the things that they were fighting for. We do have access to a lot of that stuff now, right? You know, but there is definitely still room for improvement, right? I think our current political climate is alluding to that, right? You know, and the fact that there's still so much more that needs to be done, right? You know, but you know, something that I mentioned to Ramon earlier when we were chatting is I think the only way that true, genuine change is going to happen from now on is a real revolution, right? You know, is because I think people are just so complicit and just like people are just so accepting of like kind of like what the reality is, right? You know, it's just like, well, yeah, we could fight for that, but it's just like we're already kind of good. We're the best. We're America. We're the best nation on the planet, right? You know, like, so what do we really need to like? Do I need to die for this cause and all that stuff? Like, nah, like, man, like we good. Like, you know, right? My family's good. And granted, I don't think there's any right or wrong answer to that, right? Like, you know, like, but I think there are powers in play, people in play that like are just ultimately always going to be in control. And it's the reason why people like Donald Trump exist in our White House, right? You know, like I think there's just anyone who, I don't care what anybody says, Donald Trump is not a good person, you know, right? Anyone who supports him, I'm like, can you give me one reason why he's just a good person, right? You know, like I'm like, the thing about like a lot of presidents is like they actually like they were presidential, right? You know, like I think about Obama all the time, right? You know, like Obama was one of the most like just presidential presidents I can think of in recent times, right? You know, just from the way he spoke to the way he expressed empathy, you know, right? Like to all these things. And I always think about like, I always like to have that conversation. Like, what if they were reversed, right? If you swap Donald Trump for Barack Obama, what would that look like, right? Like if Donald Trump were black and Barack Obama was white, what would that look like, right? You know, like I think Barack Obama would be regarded as one of the best presidents to ever exist. And I think Donald Trump would be one of the worst presidents to ever exist if he were black, right? Like, because we can call a spade, right? Like, you know, right? If Donald Trump were black, he wouldn't have even been elected in the first. Let Barack Obama had said that he grabs women by the pussy. He never would have been elected. He never would have seen the White House, man. Like, there's no way, you know, right? But because Donald Trump is a rich, affluent white man, he is the epitome of white privilege. But anyways, I don't want to get too far off the topic. We're not going to take it all the way there. But all I'm saying is just like with where the current political climate is and all this stuff, people like MLK would recognize that there is still so much room for improvement. We've come a long way, right? But we didn't come this far just to come this far, right? There's still going to be room for improvement, right? You know, and I think that's just kind of like where he would land. I think he would be proud of the progress that we've made, but I think he would be kind of disappointed in just how complicit we've all become in this current state.
Let's go a hypothetical here, because when I'm hearing you talk, no. What if let's say, of course, this never could happen. Let's say like Martin Luther King could come back today, right? And he could just kick it and just absorb everything in for a year, and then he runs for president in the next election, right? What type of things do you think he would be like advocating for? Just real honest question. What type of things do you think he'd be advocating for at this point?
It's a good question. I think
probably say immigration though, right? Because at the end of the day, like with the whole ICE things that's going on, that's one thing he's definitely going to be advocating for, like immigration law and all that, making sure that, because nowadays it's so crazy. Because I don't know, like it's hard because everything I've been seeing is just like videos on the internet, so I don't know how factual they are, but it's just crazy. Just walking up to someone and just asking them, "Are you a U.S. citizen?" It's insane. It's absurd, bro. Just walking up to you like, "Why you became a citizen?" Like, I don't even know what I had for breakfast yesterday. I'm not supposed to know all these all these details. At the end of the day, they'll like detain you and question you. So I would say immigration law for sure. And now also maybe healthcare, because I think in the healthcare here in the US is not so great. So
The healthcare disparity is pretty alarming too. I think I forget what the stat is, but like the mortality rate for specifically for Black women is so much, like, especially when it comes to like things like childbirth, is so much more significant than it is for their counterparts. Things like that. Like I do think healthcare. I also think, for instance, like things like DEI, right? You know, like the fact that they eliminated DEI, you know, right? Like I think a lot of what this current administration is trying to do is pretty much just undo what a lot of the progress that has been made. The fact that they're even trying to stop teaching, you know, slavery and whatnot, like in that aspect, they're trying to eliminate that from history books, like from you know, like we're seeing it in real time. And the fact that everyone's just complicit to, like, we all are aware of this, and it's like I feel like this just isn't such a bigger deal. I'm like, man, they're trying to eliminate our history from the record books. We've seen it in real time, you know, like history is always going to be told by the victors, right? And I think things like that, like things like DEI and things like education, I think those are all things that, like, you know, because Martin Luther King Jr., he was a very educated person and understood, like, just that was a big piece of his movement was education, right? You know, like on both sides. White people need to be more educated about like what the experience is here, and we need to be more educated in order to conduct ourselves in a particular way with our white counterparts, you know, so on and so forth, right? So I do still think there is a lot that he would be advocating for in those regards.
Those are great points, brother. I love the DEI point, and I definitely think he would be fighting for like he'd probably, after he's seen, like, you do some walking around, you travel from city to city, goes back to Birmingham, you go back to Atlanta, you see like, oh, this is a different place, right? It's a different place. But I think over the course of a year, he would probably see a lot of the different disparities. And a lot of times that would come up maybe from like financial disparities too. Right. Well, okay, absolutely. Where's the wealth distributed? Okay. Why is that? Like, where, you know, what programs are built for these people, you know what I mean? And I think that that's probably where I think he would advocate for a lot, right? It's like the disparity, even in the financial disperse of funds, maybe from, okay, like, let's get, now that we know that, you know, it's not, you know, whites and colors only signs out, right? But why do this amount of government contracts go to these people and not these people? You know what I mean? So like, I think there's things that you can kind of break down the system from an organizational level that I think he would be advocating for around these times now too. But it just would be interesting to hear him go, you know, toe to toe with, you know, whoever would be on the other side of that. And just hear
I would love to see him go head to head with Donald Trump. I feel like he would tear his ass apart, boy.
Almost anybody. It's anybody. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it would be. Him and Trump would be classic, but
I mean, it would be hilarious too, though.
It would be hilarious, but it'd be almost that'd be almost like what
I love the blacks. I love the blacks. I love you all. I love the blacks. I love the Mexicans. I love you all. They're killing the dogs.
No, because I mean, I think about it, right?
It'd be so much of a different, like,
it'd be complete. Look at the both times that Donald Trump won, he ran against a woman. And I hate to say it, like, I don't want to take it there, but we got to take it there. He ran the both times he won, he ran against a woman. And as much progress as we've made, the world, not even just the US, the world is not ready to see a female president of the United States. Not ready for that. Barack Obama was already enough progress. Like, they do not want to see a female president. We're just not, the nation, the world is just not ready for that yet. I genuinely believe that. The one time he ran against a man, he lost, right? And Joe Biden wasn't even necessarily the best candidate. We all recognize that, but he still lost to him, right? Now imagine a candidate like a MLK, fam. It wouldn't have even been close, fam. Like, I
mean, it would have been, though, because if you look at how many. They're all die-hard Trump supporters. They don't even care if you are.
It'd be closer than you think, probably, bro.
It'll be closer. It's not going to be as like a landslide. I don't think it would have been.
I don't think it would be a landslide either.
And I might even argue there's a possibility that he might still win too. There's a possibility, you know, even though like MLK might overall be the better candidate, more articulate, knowledgeable about just over the presidency, just like the overall trajectory of the economy and country and all that. But I just think just with Trump having so much loyal supporter, they don't care if you do, they don't care whatever he does. They're just gonna like, man, he's our guy. So I don't know. I think it's gonna be competitive than we think it is. Yeah.
I still think he absolutely takes it, but
Yeah.
I do think it's closer than a landslide. I do think it's like closer than a landslide. But I mean, you know, it's all hypothetical. I kind of want to pick y'all's brain on that because it would be incredible to see somebody with that, you know, that level of intellect, that level of empathy. You know what I mean? Just to see where, like you said, Z, like to your point of just to have him see where we went progress now, like that's it's really wild though. From like when you think about like the 60s and stuff like that to now, we're in a completely different world. We really are. Like, and all of us could be considered world travelers. We've seen like we are in a completely different world than anything that I've seen video wise or in history books of the times of the civil rights movement. We are in a different world. Of course, we're not at 100%. There's still a bunch of things that go wrong, and Z actually hit one of the a really heavy point of like almost extreme times almost called for the extreme radical other side to, you know what I mean, to fight it, right? So it's like maybe we don't have Malcolm X's and Martin Luther King's and Black Panther parties and stuff like that now because it's not as extreme as a time. You know, that was a crazy point that you said there, brother. That was heavy, and it made me think too. It's like being that it is more of a mild landscape, even though it's not right. It's still a lot going on for sure,
right?
But it's is it calling for the same level of opposition right now? And if it is, why don't they exist? Because it is still extreme right now, for sure.
Right.
But I don't know.
I mean, I feel like those like people like MLK, what's the other, Malcolm X, bro? They're like outliers. They're like one time in a life. It's like when it comes to music, like MJ, you know, like there's never gonna be those type of people. So I think just that's why we don't have it nowadays, because those leaders like who have empathy and know what they're doing, knowledgeable, and lead by just charisma and all that, and just want to see the people overall better, not just black people, white people overall. Like if you look at MLK, he led with compassion, right? He's not one of the people like, oh, kill all white people. Now he and he want to like find a way to like integrate everyone to like work together. So I just think it's just so hard to hire those type of people nowadays because they're just like once in a lifetime to like have them. And also like Z brought up a good point too. Like things are like more laid back right now, right? People are like okay with what things are. And when you think about all the outcome and stuff that happens to those like radical leaders, people who stand out. And I think most people are afraid to, because at the end of the day, like if I go that route, there's a possibility that I might get killed too. So all that and like things are okay. What am I? I'm just gonna like, you know, do things here and there. I'm not gonna go to that extreme as MLK or like the Malcolm X. I'm just gonna do what I can, you know, to just make a little dent. But even I don't know, I think it's just like they are just afraid of like the outcome, what's going to happen to you if I put myself in that position too.
I don't know. I think about that a lot is when it comes to progress, right? You know, like do a lot of people want peace or do a lot of people want progress? Because I honestly think like, and can the two coexist? I do believe so. I do believe so. I do think peace and progress can exist, but for instance, like what we were just talking about, like those extremes is what really pushed the needle forward, right? You know, like what MLK and like we were fighting in this, when you talk about the civil rights era, we were fighting for equality, right? You know, like that was a big point of like what it was that they were fighting for, you know, in that movement, right? Do I think we have direct equality nowadays? No, I think the scale's still a little offset, but you know, like we're moving the scale a little bit further and further every day, right? But that's why I said like I truly don't think any more real progress will be made unless there was like something like a revolution, right? And I'm not saying that the revolution has to be an extremely violent one or anything like. I'm not saying that, right? But like, it takes, I feel like, extremes for people to mobilize more than anything, right? Because to your point, and what I talked about earlier is just like, when people are so we're in this era of just like I said, just being complicit, like where we all recognize that there is progress that could be made and probably should be made, but is it really going to happen? Probably not, right? And why is that, right? Because I don't think really anyone's willing to like sacrifice for that progress, right? Like, because I think we all recognize, to the point of what we talked about, people like a Martin Luther King Jr. are once in a like lifetime type of person, right? It takes a very special brand of person to be like, I am going to put my life on the line for what I believe is right, for that cause, right? It takes a very special brand of person of that. You're literally putting yourself at risk, anything that because you're just so adamant about this like belief, right? That is, when you talk about walking by faith, that's just, man, I'm sure Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X probably knew that their days were limited every day, right? Like they probably woke, especially like towards the end, they knew waking up every day, I might die today, right? Like, I don't know what that life would be like, but I assume that would be like, I don't even think they were scared too. Like, I genuinely don't think either one of them was scared to die. Like, right. Like, I think they just knew, like, if I have to die for the cause, I'll die for the cause. Right. Like, but because we are just so far removed. Well, I don't want to say so far removed, but we are far removed from like that era to now, but we still recognize that we have so far to go. I just don't know what it would take for us to get there unless something like a revolution happened. So I don't know.
Real quick, I want to tap in Anifa. She's in the comments. She said everything MLK was fighting for, unfortunately, he would still be fighting for in some capacity today. Things have changed, but they're still the same. And then she said things are extreme, but since we're seeing them on our phone and not in real life, it's easy to look away. And that was a bar. Right?
That's a bar.
That's a real bar, man. It's like you see something crazy. You can see something crazy. If you seen something crazy right outside your house, it would feel differently than seeing a video on your phone.
Yeah.
And just going back to, you got to, damn, that's crazy. But if you got to meet another meeting in 30 minutes when you're working from home, you know what I mean? Like those are two different experiences. And then, that's just a great point to just where we are in society now. It's like, and these things almost become normalized in our society now. Sometimes it's like, because they are phone stories, and it's this today, that tomorrow. There's always like there's always a big story. It's easy to look away, and it's easy to not be the person, like to kind of say like something needs to be done about that without doing something.
Right.
We've all done it, right? We've all done it. We've all looked at something like, I don't even know what can I do? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and this crazier thing that I think about with people like that, right? People like Malcolm X, and we always put them in the same category because they deserve to be Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, but they were political figure, like kind of like civil rights movement leaders, but not necessarily political party, like, you know what I mean? So that's the most interesting part of this thing, right? So it's kind of like they're not in like, it's easy to turn on CNN and just watch a debate between two people or something like that, but we're talking about people that was just not even connected to that, like they were just with the people,
right?
This is where we at with it. I'm speaking at this, we gathering over here, and we're gonna talk about what's going on, and you know what I mean? And like that's heavy, man. I guess the 2026 version of that is a social media conference with all the thought leaders. You know what I mean? Maybe that is what it is. You know what I mean? And the closest thing that you can get to it, but
it makes me think about like so for instance, like BLM, Black Lives Matter, right? You know, we know that's like obviously like the big movement that started, you know, just obviously from the unjustified killings like of, you know, our people and whatnot. I think things like that are like, I think if MLK were alive today, would we even pay attention? You know, right? Like, would we still be listening to like an MLK or a Malcolm X today? Because to the point of what we talk about, right? You know, like we're in this era of everything is just so fleeting, right? You know, everything's just so here and there, like, right? You know, like, especially because to Hanifa's point, everything's on our phones, right? You know, so like you might feel away for like 10 minutes and then it's just like to your point, man, I got this meeting, you know, like in an hour. And I don't know about other people, but like I do feel a lot of empathy. So like when I see things like that, like it changes my whole entire like just thought process for that day. I'm really frustrated, you know, right? When I see people and I'm expected to just be at work, like just chilling, like nothing happened. And I'm just like, fam, like I need to like, I'm ready to like tee off on somebody, fam. Like I'm like, this shit pisses me off. Like, right. You know, like, and I'm sitting here like frustrated because I'm like, why the fuck does no one else feel like this? Like, right. You know, like it is extremely frustrating, right? You know, and that's why I said like we are just so complicit in our just day to day and just how we function because you know there are very real things that are happening and a lot of unjustified killings of our people and whatnot. And it's just like, you know, I don't know if he ever actually said it. I think he might have, but like I could have sworn Donald Trump said like he could actually go out into the street and kill somebody and get away with it. And I genuinely believe that.
Really?
Like,
He said that?
I don't know if he said it, but like he either said it or somebody said it about him. And I genuinely believe that just because of how complicit everyone is just like, I mean, the man's been impeached twice, you know, right? Like, I mean, like, it's just, I get really frustrated at times. Like, you know, when I think about like, yes, we've come so far, but I'm just like with some of the shit that happens just on the day to day and how frustrated I get, I'm just like, I really do get worked up sometimes. Like, why does no one else like just like feel this way? You know, right? Because we could just all go back to our normal lives, like, you know, right? Like I'm just shit. I got a meeting in an hour. I can't even be focused on that shit. I got to go do this and that, and it's just like, you know, I think it's those types of things where it's just like it really makes me think if MLK were alive today, would we even listen? Would we even would he get the same type of recognition that he got back then? Because yes, there was a lot more that was at jeopardy, you know, right? But to Hanifa's point, like there is still so much progress to be made, right? And you know, I'm just like, I feel like we just are so nonchalant about shit. That's the word that I like. We're so nonchalant about just everything, right? You know,
I mean, I would say that's just human nature overall, you know, because at the end of the day, in psychology, we learn about like the bystander effect, right?
Yeah.
And then you see like, you see people like people just walk by and someone's getting abused and they're like, damn, should I help? And then the more people walk by, they don't do anything. That's just human nature overall. Because that's why you need a leader, you know, to like, hey, you do that. You need someone to like direct, have a system in place. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have that, people are just going to see the most crazy and chaotic things. And most people are afraid because at the end of the day, you know your life. I'm not gonna lie, if I walk up the street and see like a dude being a wife and got a gun, like what am I supposed to do? Call 911 because I know at the end of the day, if I try to intervene, my life might be at risk. So at the end of the day, that's how most just humans overall operate, man. And because the goal is to protect your life, right? So if something is not really close to you or your close friends or your family, you tend to look at it, oh shoot, maybe I might call, you know, maybe I might do this, but I'm not gonna be involved in that. So that's why it takes like a great leader to be able to like motivate people and brings people together. And like, hey guys, I know this is what's going on, but if we come together, if we work collectively, we can actually make a change. It doesn't always have to be like violence, right? We can like do something, we can make some move, but just overall, just human nature. If you look at Germany, right, Hitler just like doing crazy shit, killing people in North and actually like stand up to him, be like, bro, what are we doing? You know, you see the way I grew up too in Liberia, right? Like you see like the government fighting one another, just like and have all the resources, and people are just like starving and dying. No one can really do anything because the whole thing is like the first few people that's gonna make a change or stand up, they're gonna be the one that get beaten up, taken to jail, and then everyone is like afraid, like, oh, you saw what happened to DG when he made that comment. And not everyone is are afraid, bro, because at the end of the day, it's just so hard because human beings, we just try to like preserve our life. So sometimes it's so hard to like, even though we see the wrongs being done, but especially when it's on that such a bigger scale, we know that, damn, like, can I really make a change? I feel like I can't really do anything. And then with that mindset, right, we don't do anything because we feel like, oh, it's just me. I really can't do anything. Just the system just continues, bro.
Yeah.
So I would just say, just from like a,
I mean, a prime example is Palestine. We're seeing a genocide in real time, right? You know, like we're not even talking about, like, I know you brought up, like, you know, obviously Germany and Hitler and whatnot. We're seeing it in real time, and we're seeing it in, like, there's a real genocide that's happening in real life right now, and I just feel like there's just like not enough being done, you know, right? Like, and I can't speak for anybody. I feel like I've done my part. I've donated multiple times, right? You know, like I've gone to 5Ks and whatnot, and like this isn't anything I need to broadcast out there, like, because I don't need anybody to know that I'm doing these things, right? But like I feel like I do try and do my part when I can, but I still feel like it's not enough, right? You know, so like like what it is that like can, and to your point, DG, sometimes like I maybe that is what we need is that figure, that leader who is just like, this is how we mobilize, right? You know, like the thing about the MLKs and the Malcolm X's and whatnot is they were like, I'm going to put this on my shoulders, and this is exactly what we can do, right? You know, like, and then I don't know if they saw their movements getting as big as they did, but I know they didn't shy away from it at all either, you know, because that's what a leader does, right? You know, like a leader understands that it's just like, regardless of what happens, I got us, you know, right? Like this is we're here, you know, right? Like, and so I truly don't know like what it's going to take. Like I said, I genuinely do think it's going to take a revolution for any real change to happen from here on out, just because of how complicit we are just in our day-to-day lives. And I feel like there's just, you know, I think there's like a lot more that we have at risk nowadays, right? You know, like I feel like back then, a lot of people didn't have a lot, right? You know, because they were so like, they didn't have all this money in your bank account. You didn't have all these investments and all this stuff and whatnot. And like, there's just a lot more that's, you know, like the thought of going back to zero or death, you know, whatever the case may be, it's just like, damn, that scares the shit out of me. But it's just like, you know, who's willing to ride, you know, right? And most people are like, yeah, nah, I'll do what I need to do, but I can't ride like that. And granted, I get it, right? You know, but it's just interesting, like, conversations to have and just things to think about, of just where were we, where are we now, and where do things look like moving forward, right? I think that's the whole.
That's my question though. What do you guys think? Like, what do you think? How things gonna be like moving forward? What's your guys' opinion on that? Just like your thoughts on that, just moving forward, right? Because of course, like, we're not perfect right now, but at the same time, we're not back to like MLK Day either, right? Things has improved tremendously overall. You know, when it comes to like just the freedom that we have as a minority, and just the things that many resources that we have as a country and all that too. Things that improve. It's not perfect, of course. So what do you guys think, like, projecting forward? Like, how you guys think things are going to be? Is it going to be better than what it is right now, or you think it's going to be worse than what it is right now?
I think I don't know. Like, I feel a certain way, kind of like, about like things like MLK Day and whatnot. Like, honoring our people is important in like what their legacies meant and the impact that they made. All those things are important, right? But what does it really mean to honor those things? Like, to honor those people? I even think about like Juneteenth. A lot of people don't know the significance of Juneteenth, right? You know, like it's a national holiday now, but like, what's really the importance of it? Like, it's just like, yeah, you just slap it on the calendar and it's just like, yeah, MLK Day, oh, we get the day off, and like, you know, right, like Juneteenth, oh, we get the day off, and it's just like, yeah, let's go have a barbecue, and just like, you know, like, but I'm just like, what's what does honor and all that stuff really look like, right? You know, like I think, yeah, is it progress? Yes. I'm not gonna sit here and like try and like just like pick it all apart and be nitpicky about certain things, right? You know, like I get that we're making progress, but I'm still, the big part of what I think people like MLK's MLK Martin Luther King Jr.'s movement is education, and I still feel like people are just like ignorant for no reason, right? We have everything at our access now. You got ChatGPT and everything in your arsenal, and you still don't know what Juneteenth means? That's crazy, right? You don't, you like so I don't know, man. It's I think we've made a lot of progress. I do think, especially with the way that things are unfolding right now in the political climate, I think things are going to get worse before they get better. And I think that's just, you know, like I think it's starting to unfold right in front of our eyes. Like I said, I mean, they're trying to eliminate our history from the textbooks, right? You know, like, you know, and I mean, there's genocide happening right in front of our eyes and things like that. So I do think it is going to get worse before it gets better, you know, right? I think we've made progress, but I feel like there's a lot of people who want to erase that progress. I think about conservatives all the time, and I'm just like, what are y'all trying to conserve? Like what are y'all, where do y'all want to, what period, you tell me, what period in time do you want us to revert back to? I would just love to know. I would love, just go ahead and blurt it out. What do you want to conserve? Where do you want us to go back to? Because I feel like in order to move forward, progress has to be made and evolution has to happen. But you're so anti that, like you're so against evolution, and why, right? You know, because like what served us back in like 1872, it doesn't serve us now in 2026, or maybe you want it to, right? You know, just tell me what era of life that existed that you want to take us back to, so we just keep it real. Let's keep it a buck. Where do you want us to go back to? You let me know, right? You know, so I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just stop talking because I feel like I'm gonna start getting worked up, and I'm gonna be ready to just snap on somebody, man.
What do you think, Ramon? Think it's gonna get better, or
you know, it's a tough question to ask. I think I'm kind of on the side of Z. Is like in the immediate, it's gonna get worse, but I do think I do skew positive for the sheer fact of opportunity that's available now that wasn't available then, right? And what I mean by that is naturally you're going to see more people in power of different races, of different backgrounds, right? Like you're going to see more people in charge of different programs for different areas that are Black, that are, you know, that just couldn't have these roles back then. So as I think long term, I think it's like it's almost like a slow, it almost seemed like if I was looking at it like a chart, it was kind of like the progress from maybe there was like this, and then it like got here, and then it's still going up, but just really slow, and maybe take us a couple dips down. Do I think it'll ever get back to 1960s down? No. Is what I mean. So it might get, could get worse than it is right now a little bit, but I still think that it's like still trending upward. And that's, maybe it's just because I'm naturally just more of a, optimistic type of person, but I believe that there's opportunity that we're able to have that we were never able to have before. And these are kind of, they stand on the I don't know, the stepping stones of these generations before us that built these opportunities. There's certain things that I could do that my grandpa never just could do. Just it wasn't possible. He could have worked his whole life to try to do something that would probably not take long for me to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I could just be there, So in that sense, I think long term I skew towards better. Short term, I see dips, but that's what usually happens too, is right. Like you have those periods of time that do get hectic and crazy, and then it calls for the opposition to rise up a little bit. And that's what I think that we're kind of in maybe a stage that's ready to see that.
Right.
It's ready to see, some extreme stuff on this side just to be combat by some things that need to be said. Like, I mean, you see like things like the buildup around the George Floyd time. That was a extreme buildup, right? There was always certain things going on, but that seemed like to be a point in time where in a small period of time between like 2020 and 2021, a lot of things got done skewing positive towards people of color and Black people. Like a lot of programs were implemented. It had something tragic happened. You know what I mean? And that, like, sometimes those moments call for extreme people to come combat it. And I think that's like kind of like a mode that we're in a time that we're in right now.
Right. So what can we do then, Blacks, to like, put ourselves in that position to thrive, to elevate ourselves? Is this something that we can do as a community to just help just elevate ourselves, support one another at the end of the day? Since, like I say, the government is not willing to do that for us, right? They're not going to put us in this position. To what can we do collectively as a group now? I'm talking about like minority, to just like help us then like grow and elevate. Like, what are some things that we can put in place?
I don't know, man. I think that's a good question. I think it starts with what we're doing right now is conversation. Right? I think that's the biggest thing is like a lot of these movements started extremely small, right? Like I think congregating and just coming together and communing and having conversation, like these types of conversations are the ones that need to be had. Conversations with depth. We're not here to talk about no bitches twerking on TikTok and all that shit and whatnot. I'm talking about like
just
real
on Friday.
Come the weekend is cool, but I think conversations like this just aren't had enough of, like, like I said, people, like, we're just so complicit nowadays. Like people, we're just so desensitized to everything, right? We don't even really care. Like I said, we're just very nonchalant, like, like about everything. It's just like, well, shit, there's nothing I can do about it, or like that's happening over there. I got to focus on me and what's happening here, right? But I think people only really care when it truly impacts them directly, right? Then all of a sudden everybody's up in arms about it, right? Like when it actually happens to you, right? And there's just that lack of empathy. But I think it starts with conversation and being able to come together and just have those difficult conversations, because I just feel like that's just not being done enough, right? Like I can't even think of a platform off the top of my head where people actually come together and talk about things like the current political climate, like race relations, all that stuff, and like what that all looks like, and where we are now and where we need to be, and like what steps we need to take to get there, right? I can't even think of a platform or anyone who's even advocating for that, right? I think of advocacy and stuff like that, and maybe it's just because like maybe not in the right spaces. Like, I think of movements like Black Lives Matter and stuff like that, and maybe I'm sure there are those conversations being had, but I think it's just not, it's not enough, right? But I think that's where it starts. I don't know what the answer is. I really don't.
Right. And one thing I want to say too, some of the dialogue I have seen when it comes to this conversation, it's hard for the opposing party to like find a common ground. Because then they, you believe this, you believe that. Like, there's no common ground. Because I think that when I look at most of those debates and stuff, it's hard. I believe that you can disagree with somebody and still understand where that person is coming from. Okay, I reason with you. But now I think nowadays when it comes to like political ideologies, like, no, my way is right and your way is fucked up. There's no common ground. There's no empathy. At the end of the day, having those differences makes it a little bit harder, because at the end of the day, you can still disagree and find a solution. I might not just agree with everything this person believes in, but we can still find common ground. And just by looking at most of those political debates, it's always like they against the other side, right? It's so hard for the other party to like understand what is this person coming from? Like, how can we solve your problem? Maybe just understand things from your perspective, Because then when it's like one thing is like white privilege, right? You might be a white person if you never experienced, what black people go through. You don't have to know exactly what they go through, but just like understand them sometimes too. Okay, what is it like being a minority? Like, can I put myself in his position? I think those are the things that just having empathy and just understanding, right? Just because someone's white doesn't mean that they're the bad person that, just right out the gate, right? Because you're white, oh, you're the cause of all my problems. No, I think nowadays what I've seen, we don't take time to like understand one another point. And it's hard to like solve anything when I can agree with you, or you just like listen to what you say. I'm like, nah, fuck that. So I think the first step, in my opinion, what I have observed overall is just like understanding where the other person is coming from. Just finding like a common ground, even though when we disagree with it.
Yeah.
I've seen that a lot, bro. What do you think?
He's not fucking with that.
What do you think, Z?
I don't know, man. Like I agree with you, but I'm also just like, it's hard, man, because like anyone who knows me knows I'm so anti-Trump. And anyone who's a Trump supporter, I'm like, I just don't even know if I could like have a conversation with you.
You have
like,
to though. You have to
try to find some common ground, because I'm just like, fam, I feel like we're just entirely two different people. Like, I'm just like, I agree. I can't fuck with anything on that side. Like, I'll be trying to like find the patience and whatnot, but I'm just like, how though? Like, I mean,
but that's how they feel on the other side, though. That's how they feel, right?
It's tough, man.
They feel the same way about us, about you. So at the end of the day, in order for like things to happen, it's hard, but we just have to like, okay, sit down and just tell me why, and vice versa. Because they will be like, I don't understand why you support that too. Like, I don't get it, right? So at the end of the day, we have that we both have just like what's what I'm looking for? Like opposite, like believe, like polarized. There you go. But it's hard for us to like find a common conclusion, because at the end of the day, I don't want to hear anything you're saying. Like, I'm not gonna listen to what you're saying. Like, and you feel the other way, right? So it's so hard. So I think for us to like get things going, even though both parties, that we have to like sit down and just listen to one another, find a common ground.
I'll be trying, man, but I'm not. Y'all know I'm not patient, right?
I know.
My patience is very thin, man. And I'm just like, I really try and think about it. Like, I do think those conversations need to be had. Maybe I'm just not the one to be in that room, because I might end up snapping on somebody, because I'd be like, fam, like, how? Like, I don't get it. Like, there is nothing good about Donald Trump or anything. Like, he is the epitome of white privilege. He is the embodiment of like white supremacy. I'm like, white people would rather nuke the entire world than like let anyone overthrow their power. I genuinely believe that. They will blow up the entire world before we all died in this motherfucker before they give up power. I genuinely believe that. But I don't know, man.
But you have to have that conversation. You have to sit down with that person, and then both of you guys understand each other. Like, he understands your point of view, and you understand, even though you might not agree with anything you're saying. But I just think for things to move further, we need to have this hard conversation.
The conversation needs to be had. I agree.
Right, and then just like, it's hard, right? Especially when someone's like complete opposite, like bro, like what the heck? But with that, we're not going to get further with that mindset, right?
There just needs to be security in that room for sure. There needs to be security in that room for sure. For sure.
It's got to be people that like do have these healthy, like these dialogue moments that like argue with some logic too. Like, because there's one thing, like, I think sometimes what we end up doing is, if we're on one side, we hear the dumbest side, like the, like the most idiotic takes of the other side, and be like, this is what the fuck we go, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's probably somebody somewhere on the other side that like is like, I don't care about none of this, and this. This is the thing that I'm talking about. And then that is more of a point that we could actually have a intelligent conversation about. Not somebody who's just like, I support this side regardless, just because, you know what I'm saying, make America great again. Like, see, like Z said, what are we talking about here? So it's like, I do think you're right, DG, but I don't know who the people are to have these conversations. And we're such in a clickbait era too, like that. It's like, I don't know if like like the logical people are trying to sit back and have these conversations versus like if we have a debate, they want people to watch it. They need clickbait. They need clicks. So they want the wild takes. They want this and that and the crazy things and people screaming behind it versus this is where some common ground is. You know what I mean? And that doesn't. It's such an like the rage bait and clickbait like era that it's hard to even be focused on what is really going on. And like you said, DG, it's hard. It's hard to see another person's side, right? Like someone that has privilege it's going to always be hard for them to see why someone that doesn't have the privilege should have more and I should lose mine. Right. So it's going to be hard, right?
Right.
But you got to look at you have to look at things with empathy and know, like, even if something's not happening to me, it could be. And I think that's what doesn't happen enough is people of power, that because they just don't usually have to, is don't look at things from the perspective of people that don't have it.
Correct.
Because they don't have to. You know what I mean? And that's going to always be a disconnect. So that conversation is hard. Like what Z saying, like it's hard to have because it's like for people that don't believe that the power structure should be equal, the person fighting for it and the person being like, nah, it's like a hard conversation to have. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I agree. Yeah, I agree. But I just believe that if we can just have the patience to just understand the other person, you know, most of the time we don't, when I listen to this conversation, but there's no common ground. It's just like proving a point. And it's like we're not moving further because I think debates and those arguments, not just to have it to see who wins or who loses. For me, at the end of the day, is to help society overall get better. Because at the end of the day, it's Z and I have a complete opposite viewpoint, and we can come together and be civil about things and like understand, learn about each other. Like, damn, even though we left the entire conversation with not agreeing, but we was able to like find common ground. People who are listening, they can actually, oh damn, they disagree with one another, but like actually learn a lot from his perspective and vice versa. So I think those things are important, but just like it's hard nowadays. I don't see those dialogue. Whenever I see those debates and stuff, it's always the other side extremists, bro.
And the truth is, we probably all have friends that skew towards like different perspectives on big topics.
Yeah,
we all have like friends. We might not talk to them every day, but people that we were or are cool with, that if they told us the honest opinion about how they feel a certain thing, they're on the way opposite side. But that tells me that there's a lot of common ground between us if we're cool, and then on certain things there's just not.
Right.
Those are probably the conversations we could actually have without it going left, because we know there's some good of a person there. Right. But they skewed so left onto something that is important to us that it's like, okay, maybe me and you can have a conversation, you know. So
yeah, I know we're getting close to that 7:30 mark.
Yeah,
before we wrap this up, like any things you got want to like add to it? Or
I was gonna say, I got a would you rather, but y'all got any closing remarks before we get to it?
Man, my closing remark is, just kind of like based on what we were talking about earlier. Just sometimes it's just good to have those hard conversation, even though that person might have a different beliefs, viewpoint, political ideology from you. But it's just important, it's imperative to sit down and just listen to one another without just dismissing the other person just because they believe in, this political party and you believe in that. I think if we can sit down, understand each other, most of the time we learn a lot from one another. Even though we might not agree, but I think this conversation needs to be had in order for us to like improve collectively as a country and just as a nation and people overall. That's my closing remark.
Mine is kind of stacked on that, but it's I shout out to Martin Luther King, shout out to Martin Luther King Day, shout out to all of the people before us that have built stepping stones for us to walk up and be in the positions that we are today. But at the same time, for people now, don't just go to the parade and don't just have the barbecue like Z was saying. Look at small. You don't have to think you don't have to be Martin Luther King to change the world, but try to change something small.
Right.
And it goes a long way, whether it's the community center, like Z said, he find ways to donate. There's 5Ks you can go to. There's things, programs that I tried, with the Black App. Just think about ways that you can really push towards the things that you support. It don't have to be like life changing every time, and you don't gotta, you know what I mean? Think that you're the one, but don't think that you're no one and that you can't do anything. Fine, think about ways that you can add anything over that is, whether that's financial, whether that's program based, whether that's a program. It could be a program within the company you work at, something small, but for generations might affect them. So I would just say, just think about little small things on days like today that you can add to the things that you actually do support.
Absolutely. Love it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll kind of echo the same sentiments. I mean, first and foremost, I just want to give a huge salute and shout out to Martin Luther King Jr. If he could hear this conversation in me right now, I would hope that you're proud, because we're still having these conversations and your name is still a topic of conversation to this day, right, in 2026, right? So I hope you're proud. I hope that we're honoring you the correct way, and if not, we'll continue to have those conversations to figure that out. So shout out to Martin Luther King Jr., shout out to people like Malcolm X, all the ancestors, all the people who got us to where we are today, because we can't take any of that for granted. But for the people now, like just like Ramon said, is continue to have these conversations, man. Really, and I would challenge people to really challenge yourself to do something of significance. And when I say significance, it doesn't have to be monumental. It doesn't have to be groundbreaking significance, right? But just do something to make a difference, right? It could be donating to this cause. It could be, volunteering at another cause, whatever the case may be. It's just there's so many ways to just like challenge yourself to be better and to actually like have a voice. I know a lot of times we feel like just invisible in this world of just so much going on, but like I would hope that you care enough to do something, right? It doesn't have to be monumental, but just care enough to do something and truly try and make a change, even regardless of how insignificant or significant it might be, right? But that being said, shout out again to MLK. He is the influence on today's question. So it is that time, right? We are the Spot Network. We are going to put y'all on the spot. What does that mean? We are going to ask you a controversial this or that question to try and spark debate, really just spark thought, right? Really just challenge your thought process as a whole, right? And so today's question is, obviously in observance of MLK Day here in 2026, would you rather be the innocent, complicit bystander or the controversial figure who walks in the line of potential dread every day?
That's
so I'm going to ask you again that question. Would you rather be the innocent, complicit bystander or the controversial figure who walks in that line of dread potentially every day?
When you say controversial, like what exactly controversial about? Because you can be controversial about certain things, right? Like, I mean, what exactly? Is this something positive? Something positive or negative, right?
I mean, I would hope positive. Whatever it is that you care, like whatever it is that you're passionate about, that's what it is.
Okay.
It could be positive for you, but sometimes what's positive for you is not positive for everyone.
Exactly.
Right. Then I'm taking the leader then, because once it's positive for me, I know I'm doing good. And yeah, I'd rather go with that, because there are going to be people who disagree with me, and it's going to be dreadful every day. But I know within, I'm standing for something that I believe in. I'm standing for something that's going to make a difference, and the dread and people disagreeing with me comes from that. So I'm willing to take that route and be faithful to the cause. So yeah, I'll go for that for sure.
You get everything that comes along with it too. You get the death threats, you get the potential, you know, assassination attempts, you know, all that stuff like that comes along with it, right? You know, it's just, it's
that's what I'm saying. Got to be something that I believe in. That's what I'm saying. If it's something that I believe in wholeheartedly, like I'd rather do that. It's like imagine going out right with your brother and they got attacked, knowing that there's a possibility of 3 guys. You know, my life might be involved, but at the end of the day, it's your brother. So in that moment, I'm willing to do whatever it takes, right? So it's kind of like the same way I'm thinking about this question. So I'm with everything that comes with that, because at the end of the day, I believe my calling and knowing that it's actually doing something positive for people. I'm with whatever that comes with it, man. Yeah, I can be the complicit, just bystander, just nah.
Yeah. The reason why this question is hard because, I think my cousin chimed in on it before, is sometimes some people play the innocent bystander just because they don't want to put their immediate family in danger, right? In actual harm's way. I do think that we're probably all going to stand on the same side on this one, but I wonder if it would be a little bit different, or if we would take different stances in specific instances if we had our family with us. Like, to protect them right now, does it make more sense for me to run full force into this, or be like, not today? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's an interesting question. I just wanted to point that side out because I don't think we're going to be on the other side. So I do want to point that side out to just say I understand that side. You know what I mean? Like, in protection of your family, you might take that as not like I'm scared of the moment, but like it's in protection of my family. But on my side, I'm taking the same side as Diamond. It just has to be. If it's something I'm standing on, it's just
right. It can just be some bullshit.
I don't think it would be for any of us. It would.
It wouldn't be no bullshit for any of us.
Yeah. Right. It gotta be something that I believe in.
Y'all already know what side I'm on. I'm 10 toes down, baby. All day, every day.
Now, would it change for you guys if in specific moments you had maybe your wife and your kids with you?
I'll go first on this one. I think, because I think about that a lot. I think the reason why I'm just so for the cause is because I'm a lot more light on my load, right? Like when I think about when it comes to family, I don't have a wife, I don't have kids and stuff like that. But if I did have a family, I do still think I would edge towards the side of being the leader, being that controversial person. I think there would just have to be those conversations that are had a lot like Malcolm X, right? Like I would have to I'd be in a position where I'm like, look, I'm going to make sure that y'all are protected. Now, for me, I can't guarantee that, right? I will make sure I will die before anything happens to y'all. But I just know that I can't guarantee what's going to happen or what's not going to happen to me, right? And that's just something that I have to be comfortable with. But those conversations would be had where I'm like, I'm still 10 toes down. I'm still here. I'm still here for the cause. And I hope my wife and my kids would be okay with that. And if they're not, I'd appreciate that.
I just want to say, get new kids.
No. Fuck y'all. I'm gonna find a new family. I would get it. I'd be like, look, I get it.
I'm gonna find a new family. It's crazy.
I'm gonna find a new family. Fuck all y'all.
I thought so.
But I mean, there's certain things that you could do. You could put them in if we're being completely honest, it's the government that had MLK assassinated, right? So whether that's going to be admitted or not, right? So you just never know who's going to come after you. And that's where it's just I can't guarantee what's going to happen to me, but I will go out of my way to make sure that everyone around me knows that y'all are good. You will forever be good. Even if that means y'all got to go into isolation and go somewhere for just a while, go into, what is it called? When people go into the program to change their names and all that stuff. And Damn. Witness protection program. Stuff like that, where you just ultimately like have to like whatever circumstances it takes. But I'm always ride for the cause. Like I genuinely believe I'm just always going to edge toward that side. So I don't think it would change.
Absolutely.
Okay. You don't think it changed for you either, Dom?
No, I don't think so, man. Especially when the things I believe in, man. I don't think so, to be honest.
I think if I was being completely honest with myself, I go from 10 toes to 8 toes down. I'm still I'm still down for it, but there's gonna be a few moments, maybe.
Oh, of course, yeah.
In real time, where I'm like, I need y'all to be good. Y'all are with me in this moment.
Right.
We gotta get out of here. I'm for that, but not today.
Yeah.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why I think that it could be seen like I'm an innocent bystander because I've seen it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if I'm being honest with myself, there could be moments where there's like, I need y'all protected first. Y'all are not protected. If I'm in there right now, I need to protect y'all first, and then
Well, I think that's what makes a good leader too. It's just like you have to pick and choose your battles, right? Like leaders aren't reckless. Like not all leaders are reckless, right? So like I think the most successful leaders are the most strategic ones, right? Like I think leaders know when to pick and choose. I can't fight every single battle, fam. Like I genuinely just can't do that. Like, right? Like you have to be able to, and you would hope that just your family understands that, and the people like your movement understands that too. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, you're a human being, right? Like there's only so much that you can do. But I think the best leaders and people like MLK understood that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
well, great take, fellas. I know we got to wrap, man, but great episode, man. Shout out to Martin Luther King Jr. On MLK Day. I'm glad we got to have this conversation, because the day could easily go by without any dialogue or things like this. And it kind of just shifts us and makes us remember sometimes that, the fight is far from over. And there's certain things that maybe we all could still be doing. We all do some, but maybe we could all be doing a little bit more of, you know what I mean? So, anybody watching and us specifically, you know what I'm saying? So,
it reminds us that it's so much bigger than us, right? At the end of the day, I think that's really what it is. But shout out to everybody who tuned in, man. We genuinely appreciate y'all. Happy Monday. Be sure to tune in with us next Monday and every Monday after that. Follow us at the Spot Network Official on all social media platforms, but specifically here on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all the things, right? But other than that, I'm DJ Zenus. Again, that's DG, Diamond Grant, that's Ramon. We are the Spot Network, and we'll see y'all next week, man. Have a good week, and let's continue manifesting greatness, man.
And shout out to MLK, man. I had the day off today.
Shout out to MLK, man.
All right,
Peace out.